Introducing the all-new 199 mile an hour Ferrari Portofino. It costs £166,000 and is, claim its creators, the most usable Ferrari that money can buy. Powered by a 3.9-litre twin-turbo V8 that boasts 591 bhp and a thumping 760 Nm of torque, the Portofino is a direct replacement for the 10-year-old California. With a new lightweight retractable hardtop, a bigger boot, roomier rear seats, a third-generation electronic differential, and a brand new chassis, the Portofino is also 80 kilograms lighter than the California, making it significantly quicker in a straight line. Ferrari claims 3.5 seconds for the 0 to 62 sprint, while 0 to 124 miles an hour, 200 kilometers per hour, takes a mere 10.8 seconds. So in theory, the Portofino is quick with a capital F. But is it as good to drive as it appears to be on paper? We went to southern Italy last week to find out.
So the very first thing you notice about the Portofino, within the first 10 yards almost, is just how good the ride quality is. I know that's not the first thing that springs to mind when you're trying to assess a brand new 591 bhp twin-turbo V8 Ferrari, but literally the moment you get in it, you start going down the road, and these roads are pretty badly surfaced. Just the refinement of the ride quality and the refinement of the car in general immediately strikes you, and that's what this car is fundamentally all about. It is the usable, the everyday Ferrari. You've got to be impressed just by how easy it is just to climb in and drive down the road, not that fast. But when you do want to drive it fast, you dial it up to sport. The throttle response gets much sharper. You can hear that now. The gearbox modes get crisper, the changes happen faster. The steering gets a little bit heavier as well, which is a good thing because the steering initially is very, very light. It's super precise, as all Ferrari steering systems are. But this new electric steering on this car, I have my doubts about it, to be honest, because I want just a little bit more weight. Because even in sport mode, there ain't much feel. I mean, it's very precise. And you can put the nose visually where you want in a corner, but there's just not a lot of feedback coming through the rim, and it's just because the electronic assistance, I think, is a little bit too keen. But the way this thing goes, the way it accelerates, the way it sounds, you can forgive it an awful lot, because it goes like a rocket. There is pretty much no lag.
The Portofino's hardtop can be raised or lowered at anything below about 30 miles an hour, and it takes just 14 seconds to do its thing. Ferrari claims there's 30% less airflow into the cabin with the hood down compared with the California, while the aircon system has also been comprehensively redesigned to deliver more heat when it's cold and better cooling when it's hot.
The Portofino has a brand new chassis, says Ferrari. Not a development of the California T's, a brand new chassis. New E-diff at the back, totally revised electronic suspension. And it's the electronic suspension that gives it that lovely ride quality. But also, it does a few weird things when you load it up mid-corner, because there's almost, in fact there is no body roll. When you've got the combination of this really light steering and then super flat cornering and yet quite compliant suspension, it doesn't feel quite so natural to me. It feels very digital, the Portofino. And they've done that to make it feel utterly easy to get in and drive and not really have to think that much about what you're doing. Ferrari themselves say that you don't need to be anywhere near as skillful to get quite close to the limits in this car as you do in a 488 or all their other cars, and I sort of know what they mean, but the flip side to that, I think, the more miles I spend in this thing, is that actually when you do start to push it quite hard, the level of satisfaction isn't as deep. Ultimately though, you cannot knock the Portofino's performance. Have a look and a listen to this. I mean, that is some proper acceleration. It's seriously quick, this car. No, it might not deliver absolutely the last nth of driver satisfaction. Not like a 488 GTB does at any rate. But my word, it goes when you put your foot down. The brakes. Let's talk about the brakes. They are carbon ceramic brakes, as they are in all Ferraris. And they are very powerful when you put your foot down really hard and want it to stop. Like that. However, once again, I've got a little problem with the kind of touchy-feely aspect of the brake pedal itself and what happens when you're just kind of bumbling along quite lightly, because there's actually quite a lot of sneeze factor in the pedal itself. I want a brake pedal to be really kind of hard like that. But you put your foot on the brake pedal and there's a good sort of ½ inch of travel where you don't ever think, no, I'm not going to stop, but you just think, well, it's not actually doing anything at all. But, you know, as I say, it stops on a sixpence when you really want it to. And again, I think that's because this is the Ferrari that anyone can just jump into and anyone can drive pretty quickly. The gearbox, well, it's Ferrari's 7-speed dual clutch. And as in all other Ferraris with 7-speed dual clutches, it is absolutely brilliant. The speed with which it changes gear, up and down, and that varies across the modes. But in any mode, in manual, this gearbox, 100%. Overall, the Portofino is obviously a great car, but it's not the perfect Ferrari, not for me. I think the steering is too light. I've got a weeny problem with the feel from the brakes, and this hyper flat sort of digitally controlled suspension when you're cornering just doesn't feel quite natural enough to me. It doesn't feel that, it feels digital rather than organic, which sounds a bit pretentious, but I just want a little bit more feel from this thing, that's all. But beyond that, it really is a lovely car, one that is seriously fast as well.
Click on the video windows to watch first drive reviews of the Ferrari 488 Spider or the McLaren 570S Spider. Click on the play icon to watch our latest video or on our logo to subscribe.